It's a right that should be vigorously protected, and as Attorney General, I intend to do everything in my power to protect that right. Just like the disgraced former Attorney General Mark Dan, my opponent Richard Cordray has never been a prosecutor, so all of these frontline investigative matters may be rather new to him. Ohio needs an experienced prosecutor in the Attorney General's office, and I'm the only one that has the experience to handle those kinds of cases. Thank you. I'll be happy to answer any questions at this time.
You're
Yes, ma'am.
talking about voter fraud, but aren't you really, everything that you're describing is voter registration fraud?
Which goes to the essential function of obviously voting, so yes. But those can form what are called predicate acts, corrupt activity acts for the purposes of a racketeering charge.
But do you have any indication that anybody has cast a ballot when they're not a qualified elector?
At this point in time, no. And obviously what we have, and I want to emphasize, Laura, is that we have just more than just a little bit of smoke. I think that there is a track record over the last 4 years of ACORN not being able to provide the oversight to ensure the sanctity of the right to vote. And I think based upon that and based upon evidence that I anticipate we would continue to gather, there may very well be probable cause to believe that they have violated the statute. I want to emphasize, presumption of innocence attaches. The whole purpose of this would be to call for an investigation to make sure that that in fact had not happened.
How would their actions violate the RICO statutes?
Well, any voter registration act could potentially be and I emphasize potentially because of the presumption of innocence, could possibly be an act of corrupt activity. Under the federal statute, it could very well be one of the 2 predicate acts that's required. This whole concept of working together with state, federal, local law enforcement is not a foreign concept to me. For the more than 20 years I've been a prosecutor, I've found that many times the best way that law enforcement works together is when they join hands together and they work together to focus their resources upon a particular problem. And I would tell you that the Attorney General, if I'm the Attorney General, does not need to get the press, does not need to get the pub on this. I'm interested in making sure that this matter is aggressively investigated because of the importance of the sacred right to vote.
Are there allegations outside Franklin, Cuyahoga, and Hamilton counties?
Those are the ones that we're aware of right now. We're obviously continuing to do some checking as well to see if there's any others that have been reported. If we find any of those, Laura, we'd pass them on to you.
And can you tell me the numbers in those counties in terms of the number of duplicates or?
No, I cannot. Not as we stand here. I can probably get that information for you if you'd like to have that.
Well, because as I understand it, in Franklin County, it's like maybe 4 or so. I mean, it's really a
not
small
particular
handful.
high at this point in Franklin County, but the numbers are much larger in Cuyahoga and Hamilton, as I understand.
That's right, and I anticipate that as we get closer to the election and probably after the election, we're going to continue to hear horror stories about what is actually going on with the voter registration that's being conducted under the oversight of ACORN. So I would anticipate this is only a beginning. I want to suggest to you that it's because of this continuing course of conduct, lack of oversight, if you will, on the part of ACORN, that we become seriously concerned about what their motives are and whether they really are serious about protecting the right to vote in this state. I would anticipate that we will gather additional evidence as we move along, and certainly once I become Attorney General and begin to look at that much closer, we could obviously consider bringing federal grand jury or state grand jury and taking additional testimony there under oath.